Hi, Tim Sales. In this video, we're going to be talking about network marketing sales reps income compared to Amazon sellers. In this particular one, the shock factor comes from a different direction than the other videos I've done. So in the other videos that I've done, the shock factor has come from that the amount of people who earn X amount of money, whether it be 100,000 or 75,000 or 50,000, has been a much higher volume of people in network marketing compared to the other ones like real estate and YouTubers and actors, entertainers, musicians, and things like that. And so, I'm going to have fun sharing this because it was quite a shock factor to me. All right, so let's jump into this. And you're going to really understand why in a video that I did a few weeks ago, having to do with what is network marketing, why this has become so relevant. All right. So when you go out and you say, well, what kind of business do I really want to own? These are the categories of a product-based business. In other words, you can choose any one of these categories. All right. And so here's raw resources, and that's going to be basically extracting earth substances. So sand, concrete, soil, ore, gold, diamonds, trees, animals, water, whatever it is. You're going to be extracting it out of earth. This one is manufacturing what you pulled out, okay? And so that's going to be turning this into glass or cell phones, the glass on the cell phone, milk, cream, meat, lavender, vegetables, whatever it is. And then there's branding that you could do, and that's the legal, that's the licensing, that's the image, the graphics that are around it. And then the multiple languages and the countries. And then there's warehousing, which is picking it, packing it, shipping it, and sending it to those countries. And then here's how you sell it, which could be brick and mortar building. It could be an online store. It could be a sales rep. And in network marketing, my found sweet spot, if you will, is to acquire the customer and service the customer. That is where the highest margins are and the most security. Okay, so then there's another one over here, which is a customer service, and they deal with returns, complaints, restocking, shipping in multiple countries. Okay, in network marketing, we partner with these, and we just do this. This is the only thing that we do. All right, so we've got that one single focus of acquiring customers and acquiring reps and training them. All right, so that is the network marketing way we do this. This is the Amazon way. So this is Amazon's job. This, highlighted in blue, is your job. So you're the one that's going to go and create a product, make a product. And then you're going to do the branding, the licensing, the packaging. You're going to make it pretty. You're going to, create the images that go on to Amazon. You're going to write the sales copy that's on there. And then what they are going to do is they're going to pick, pack, and ship it. They own the customer. And that's and then they also have the returns and the complaints. Okay. So that's quite a bit of a different business model than what we have. Now, we've got some really strong numbers here. And what I mean by strong is that there are source data that give us this data, right? So it's 2.7 million total sellers on Amazon in 2019, 1.1 million active sellers on Amazon, 898,000 have at least one sell, and then 168,000 with $100,000 in sales, and then 40,000 with $500,000 in sales, and 18,000 with 1 million in sales. Now, these are sales; they're not profits. Okay, so the average, I'm going to show it to you in just a minute. Yeah. The average profit is 17.5%, which is $175,000. So for the people who have $1 million in sales, which is 18,000 of them, it's less than 1%, they're going to make $175,000. Okay? So This is based upon Marketplace Pulse 2019 report. Now, this is very interesting. So, options in how you acquire products to sell. So when you go back and you look at this, let me just run back and just show this thing to you. Okay, so back here, when you're going through this process, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, right? So that's what I wanted to reference back to that. All right. So number one is you can private label, create your own product, label, and brand. So somebody else has already created the formula, if you will, and all you're doing is just basically private labeling that. And so it's the same product that somebody else is selling, but under a different name. Wholesale, which is buying products directly from a brand or distributors with extra stock in order to sell on Amazon. Okay, so that's you wholesaling it. And so then others would have it as well. Arbitrage is where you go out and you seek to find a product that might be really good, and you are buying it at a discount through retailers and online and reselling it on Amazon. Okay, so you're scalping, if you will, smaller margins. And then drop shipping, buying products directly from a manufacturer who fulfills the order and ships directly to the customer. So those are kind of the decisions that you'd have to make. And, you know, if you have 2 or 3 different products out there, or 10 or 100, you could do a mix match of these. And then you can also have handmade, creating, crafting own products to sell on Amazon, right? So that would be another option. Okay, so startup cost. How much money to start an Amazon business? And I'm not going to read each one of these. You are welcome to freeze the video if you want to look at each one of them. But just to kind of start you off here, Amazon seller accounts, $40 a month. This is fulfillment by Amazon fees, 15% per sale. UPC codes, like the barcodes that go on the box, or the packaging, if you will, $250 for a pack of 10, $50 annual fee, $50. Registered trademark, $900. Product samples, $300. And that $100 each from 3 separate suppliers is kind of the norm. And then product inventory, the guys who acquired all this data for me, I go, wow, that's not what I'm familiar with. All right, so I've been in this world, not in Amazon, but I've been in this world, and that's going to be 20,000, blah, blah, blah. Right, so if you are only ordering 3,000 of something, I assure you the manufacturer is going to charge you a whole lot. Okay, so you're going to have units in the minimum 5,000 to get any kind of margin at all. You're normally going to have to go up to 20,000 in order to get enough margin to really do well. And so, yes, that increases the risk, but it increases the potential of what you're going to get back. Okay? Inspection services, $300. Promotion and advertising on Amazon platform, $1,500 plus. And then product photography and copywriting, about $500. Reordering inventory equals $2,000 plus. Okay, so that's the that's based upon Jungle Scout was the source of that, and expect to spend about $5,000 on startup cost in order to sell on Amazon. Okay, so let's look a little bit deeper here, and 2 primary sources if you want to go and dig into these things is Marketplace Pulse and Jungle Scout. So it's how we acquired these numbers. Okay. So we started out with 710. In order to understand why we started out with 710, you're going to have to go back a couple of videos from this video to the network marketing compared to real estate, because it was real estate that we were able to figure out that 50,000 real estate agents start every year. How many people had to start the journey to become a real estate agent in order to get 50,000? And that was 710,000. And so we did side-by-side comparisons through multiple industries using that as the original, so people can look side by side and compare this data to this data to this data. Okay? So it starts out with 710, and they're going to go through that they sign up as an Amazon seller. And then 568 will pass through that attrition gate, if you will, who will go out and do the product research. There's a lot of people who don't. 355,000 will source, manufacture, and product and get samples. They'll actually go through that process to do it. 300,000 will warehouse inventory. In other words, there's a drop right here simply because as soon as you go and you get the product made or something like that, and then they tell you the quantity that you're going to have to order, and you look at your bank account and you're like, go, no go, right? So that's the reason that has a drop there. And then 289. So this is just the reduction from 710. And so by the time you get down to being an active seller, you're going to be about 40% from that number. So 289 are going to become active sellers with a product listing. And then 236,000 will sell at least one product on Amazon. And 203,000 will make at least $1 in profit. 18,000 people will earn $50,000 in profit. 13,000 will make 75, and then 7,000 will earn 110,000. Okay, so that's their numbers. Okay, but I got to give you a comparison here side by side, and so we had to add a category. Because in this particular situation, just because they sold one product didn't mean that they made a profit. And so in network marketing, the product that you sell is baked, the profit is baked into the sell, okay? And so we had to add this particular right here, that category right there, profit baked into the sell. Okay, so that's the only reason that for those of you who have followed this and you say, that looks like more rows here. It is. All right, so this is where we start. Okay, so 236 sell at least one product, 578 in network marketing sell at least one product. But we had to add this category, which is only 203 of those actually made at least $1 in profit. Okay, so here everybody did, right? And then the next one down, 18,000 will earn $50,000. That's 2.8 times more than in Amazon seller. 25,000 will earn $75,000 here. 13,000 will earn $75,000 as an Amazon seller. And that's 1.8 times more. And then 1%, 7,000 people will earn 110, and 14,000 or 2% will earn 110,000. Okay, so now this is what I'm talking about where there's not a lot of shock factor in these numbers, for me anyway. And the shock factor comes in the data that I'm about to share with you, but just looking at it on a side-by-side, there's a couple of things that immediately come into my mind, which is that in network marketing, what we're really doing is something called the pipeline. I'll show it in a minute, but we're doing a pipeline. We are the ones generating the customers, and we own the customers. And then we also can generate reps by, running, advertisements or generating leads somehow, and then contacting them, setting appointments, and so forth, and training that rep to do what we do. And you say, well, why in the world would you train your competitor? Well, because they have the same compensation plan that we do, right? And so therefore, we can earn a little bit of percentage off of their efforts. And in my world, what I've experienced for 32 years, I've had a 6 to 7 figure income. And the reason being is because undoubtedly, as an organization builds, you're going to find people better than you. All right. And that's what you want on your team. And so you get an exponential residual income. It's not just a residual income on one product, but you taught them how to market products. And so then no matter what the company comes out with a product line, then that's getting resold. All right. So because you taught them how to sell stuff. Okay, so that would be the fundamental difference on this. So here's the good reasons. This is what one of the sources that we had. This is their list of why to choose Amazon seller. Self-employment, replace current job. Flexible work hours, live, work, travel anywhere in the world. Curiosity, explore a new business opportunity. Business expansion, add a new sales channel in the world's largest online marketplace. Additional income, good side hustle to make extra money, higher profit margins on average than other types of small businesses. In other words, there's a 17.5, but when you look at traditional businesses, whether it be a bookstore or anything like that, it's normally somewhere around 10%. So there's a slight higher margin there, and so those are good reasons to want to own your own business there. Why not to choose an Amazon business? You don't own the customer. That's the biggest one. Okay, so Amazon owns it. No residual income, sell once, get paid once. Okay, now it is in the biggest marketplace. All right, but still you're on that one thing. Product sourcing and manufacturing. Need expertise in sourcing unique and different products. Okay, and so they're that are difficult to replicate. So I'll get to it. I was going to tell you something, but I think I've got it later. Inventory to purchase, maintain, and warehouse. Okay, so this is what shuts down most network marketing companies that go out of business. It is because they do not understand how to predict sales. Okay, and they don't buy enough in inventory in order to make enough margin. So that's the prediction game is the most difficult game in town. And then there's fees. 15% per sale goes to Amazon. Competition from other sellers, very little to distinguish you from other sellers, many of whom are becoming extremely sophisticated. So those people who have really mastered this trade, and I'm in an inner circle, and I know the King Kong of the Amazon sellers, and man, he has a big organization that is data mining every single thing that goes on all the time. Okay, so he's grabbing the data, is figuring out everything, and so it's a very sophisticated operation at this stage so that he continues to dominate. And so it is definitely doable as a game, no question about it. You saw the numbers, you saw how many people are able to succeed at it, okay? So then there is this one piece, okay? You don't own the customer, right? And so competition from other sellers, people would say, well, network marketing has that too. In other words, if I'm in a network marketing company and I'm selling a particular product, everybody else does too in that company. But here's the difference. You go to, let's say somebody comes in and they search socks, I don't know, ankle socks. And not only does Amazon show your product, but they show all the competitors right there. Okay? And so that's not the same of what we do. So what we're doing is that we're going out and then selling the value of our product, and it's a unique experience coming from an individual. All right? And then in addition to that is that it is the servicing of, it's the communication of. All right, so that's what we are providing as a unique proposition to a customer. Okay, so it's not the same as Amazon showing, you've got a camera to sell, and Amazon showing you, 50 other ones. And this is additional reasons on why not to choose Amazon. Competition from Amazon. Okay, so pay close attention to this one. 53% of sellers say Amazon sells its own products that directly compete with the sellers. They often undercut their sellers with their own products. I remember going into a CVS one time. It's kind of like a drugstore. And inside there, I noticed that there were generic brands of products that used to have a name brand that you would buy. And I remember thinking, wow, they used to sell those products here. Even at the grocery store up the street, they have the, let's say, Procter & Gamble brand, but then they have their own brand right below it, a few pennies cheaper. I've seen the same thing going on with Amazon. I see it at Whole Foods. The first time I saw it, there's a product called Bark Thins, and I remember seeing Bark Thins and there's a whole shelf of different chocolate stuff. But then on a display that was in front of this whole chocolate shelving was the specific brand made by Amazon. All right. That was interesting to me because I thought, man, they're undercutting Bark Thins. Bark Thins came in and showed there was a tremendous demand for this product. And so then Amazon created their own version of it, made it less expensive, okay? And so this is, you get to sell in the beast, but then the beast has the capability of knocking you out of the way once they figure out that you've got a high margin product, okay? So that, to me, was a big shock factor. You're at the mercy of Amazon. 76% of sellers are concerned about Amazon shutting down their account without reason. That's a high percentage of people that are worried about it. Privacy and security, that's 46% of sellers are concerned about Amazon protecting their privacy and security, as well as kind of getting their database, knowing their entire business model, that kind of thing. And so they feel as though that they're able to look and see how much money they're making, what they're exactly doing. So their entire business model is exposed. Competition from China was another one. 68% of sellers are concerned about Chinese suppliers selling their or similar products at lower cost. And you can see this with Nike, right? So Nike sends their products over to be manufactured in China. Well, all they did was train them how to create Nike shoes, right? And so now they can turn around and that same design can be manufactured under a different identity, as well as other things. So if you can just think about it from that perspective, now you can start looking at other product lines. I remember searching to order some gym equipment, and I knew Cybex made a particular thing, but then there was all of these offshoots that look exactly like the Cybex machine I wanted to order, but they were all coming out of China. And I was like, wow, man, their design, and what are you going to do? You're going to file a lawsuit in China on this, right? So it becomes a difficult thing. Tariffs, 57% of Amazon sellers, so they're concerned about the impact of tariffs on goods and services from China, or goods. Rising costs, 47% of sellers stated that they had to pay more for their products due to the higher tariffs, okay? So it's not just the concern of tariffs, they're actually paying 47% more, right? So when you come back to it, in my view, the pros versus the cons, okay? So we just went through all of those reasons why not to, and I'm sure there's a list of why not to in network marketing. When I balance it all out, where all I have to do is this, that is what I think is the simplest one, okay? So when I think about the effort of going through all of this side over here to come up with a product, being at a part-time kind of a business scenario, and I want whatever I'm going to start into, I want that thing to be able to go all the way up to high wealth, residual income. That's what I want it to do, all right? And so that's what happened to me, and that's the reason that I'm so pro acquiring the customer, servicing the customer. I have the highest margins, most security, and I own the customer. All right, that's the reason I like that one. And so, if you because income is very easy to control, and the reason I say it this way. So let's say that you end up ranking higher in Amazon. You're paying more money in advertising. You're starting to rank higher. And then somebody comes in with a competing product, and they're spending more money, and so you rank lower. It's kind of like the whole concept of search engine optimization, where the SEO, you might have been on number 1 on Google, and then they change their algorithm, and now you're on page 63. In a very similar way in Amazon, that can happen. In this scenario, you are controlling the getting of customers. And so the process is simple. You generate a lead, you contact the lead, you set an appointment for them to see a presentation. Now, what does that look like in real life online? You show an ad that goes straight to the presentation. They become a customer, you service them, you make money. That's it. Okay? You want a sales rep, you want to train them what you do, you generate a lead to see a presentation that goes to a form to fill out to apply. You then do a Zoom call with them, and then they become a rep. You service them by training them. You earn a small percentage of income. Okay, so income rise and fall in ratio to the pipeline production. It is quantity across here. That is the real way to master the game, recognizing that each one of these columns is a skill to develop. So the better I communicate with my messaging on my ad, the better I communicate if I contact that person and set an appointment and the presentation. Each one of these columns is the skill level, but it's always going to be quantity while increasing skill level is how you end up earning, more and more and more income, if you will. And the better that you train your people, the more long-term residual that you're going to have, because that team is now, you've taught them. And so any new product that comes out with a network marketing company, they're going to be able to write that presentation, or they're going to be able to write the ads and drive them to that presentation. So that's the whole idea behind network marketing. Please comment down below and let me know what you think about the Amazon, maybe being an Amazon seller. If you've been in Amazon selling, update me. Let me know, because I have several people who went out and acquired this data, and what was your experience from it, and things like that. And then also, you might think about subscribing if you haven't already. I typically come out with a video every single week, and so thank you for your comments and thank you for watching.